Alright guys, welcome to the Merry Boozers channel. Today, we've been getting asked for this for forever. We're going to do a total repaint. You know, I've been just falling in love with this FlexJet ever since we got it, but I haven't loved the paint job. So, something else I haven't liked are the missile rails. So what I had the idea of is we can go and pull that off. I've already got them loose. We're going to take these missile rails off and we're going to actually put missiles on. These are the missiles off of the Freewing F-15. But I'm sure you can find a bunch of different ones that would work if you have any of these sitting around. It's literally going to just pop right in there, and now we'll have actual rockets. I can't do it from that side. So the first step we need to do is peel all the stickers off of this airplane. The good news is it's just bare foam. If I can find a tip here to grab and just show you how easy it is. I'm sure you get the point, though. We're going to literally take, and of course I can't grab it. There we go. We're going to just start stripping them back. Be gentle when you do this. Don't peel too fast or too hard because you'll start peeling the foam up. Like that right there. It's going to leave glue behind. We're going to come back and have to clean that off. I usually use isopropyl alcohol. It takes that right off. But I'm literally going to strip the whole airplane now of stickers. Sorry guy in China that put them all on, but they're going away. So, like I said, if you want to do this, just plop these off, get you some missiles. I'll show you how to cut them in here in a minute. We're going to use these little tabs that come on them, cut a little piece of foam out, and then glue these in. But we probably won't do that until after the entire repaint's finished, because I might repaint the missiles white also. Hadn't decided yet. But guys, we'll be back to you shortly after I get it all stripped. Alright guys, we've got all the stickers off now. One thing I did is I rubbed the entire airplane down with isopropyl alcohol in order to get most of the glue residue and any kind of finger oils or anything like that off of it. The step after that is start taping off all the parts you don't want to get painted. I've started just a little bit here. This is frog tape. I really like it. It doesn't seem to peel the paint up afterwards. Just always be careful when you tape something off on a foam airplane. They like to peel the paint back off. Find you an inconspicuous spot to test whatever paint you're going to be using. I'm using Krylon, or excuse me, this is Valspar. Anybody's works. Just test it in an inconspicuous spot. If you've got a part you're not going to use anymore, make sure it's not going to melt the foam. Remember, don't get real crazy thick sprays either. You want to spray pretty far away when you're actually painting the airplane. That way it doesn't eat the foam. Some of the aerosol accelerants will do that. I'm not going to do it with the paintbrush, guys, just because I've got so much to paint, and I'm going to be painting this entire airplane gray. So we're just going to do it with a rattle can. So anyway, we'll meet back up with you here in a minute when we start spraying it, showing you how it's going. We probably won't show you the whole spraying process because it's going to take me a while, and we're just trying to turn it all to gray. So anyway, we'll meet back up with you shortly. Alright guys, next step is to start spraying the airplane. Be very light on your first coats and just get a nice thin base coat to start with. We're going for gray on this, and I'm just using the old rattle can special here, at least to get a good base down. I may come back in with the airbrushes and hit the hinge lines where I can't get the paint in very good. Nothing to it. This is it, guys. Just a nice light coat to start with. I never was a fan of the other color this airplane was from the beginning. Like I said, just real light. And we're going to let this coat dry and then come back and hit it again. Probably going to take 5 or 6 very light coats like this. One thing I didn't mention is you can take a little sandpaper and rough it up from the beginning. And that blue up there on the nose is going to take a while to get off. I could have rubbed it off, but I didn't. I'm just going to paint over it. But this is all there is to it, guys. We'll meet back with you in a little while after we get a couple coats on here. Alright guys, we've got the airplane all painted in one color. Looks really good now. I'm going for an F-16 look on this airplane. So I actually have the box for my F-16. I'm going to get Lori to show you this picture right here. She can get in there. If you look at an actual picture of an F-16, there's this white line that goes all the way around the wing. Funny enough, on this airplane, this panel line looks a lot like it. So what I'm going to do is take me a little paintbrush, a little bit of this white Americana paint. Remember, you can't go wrong with this stuff. It doesn't eat the foam. And Lori, I don't know how you're going to show this, but I'm literally going to take white paint and slowly start making my way around the whole perimeter of this. Take a little more right there. And this is going to take forever. Some guys are not going to want to do this. I'm just showing you. Take a little time. If you make a mistake, the good news is we used an oil-based paint to paint this airplane with. Now we're using a water base on top of it. So if we make a mistake, we can clean it right off with a little bit of rubbing alcohol. And no problems. Alright guys, I'll see you in about 2 hours. It's going to go by in about 3 seconds for you. Alright guys, we finished our little white line around the outside. I think that's to indicate where you can walk on the wing of an X-15. I'm not 100% sure what that white line is for, but there it is. We have removed the rudder, because the rudder on a real F-16 is a different color. It's a lighter color, and so is the bottom. So what I'm going to do is take some of my airbrush paint that's the lighter color, put it in the gun, and then I'm going to get down here where we can meet up and show you what I'm going to do. Alright guys, we've got our airbrush filled up with paint. We've got our compressor set at 30 pounds, and now we're just going to start taking and lightly spraying this to give it the look we want. We just want to see a light shade different than what was there. Just a little paint. What? Lori's going to do. No. Guys, you might have to do a couple coats with this. Nice thing about airbrush paint is that you don't have to worry about nasty fumes in the house. So your wife won't get mad at you for painting in your hobby room if it's in the house like mine is. Hopefully y'all can see what's going on here. And I'm just trying to kind of give it a nice even coat. The first coat, we'll probably have to do more than one. Rattle can's always faster if you can, but I know y'all guys want to see some airbrushing. Like I said, it don't stink up the house if I do it this way. So now we got to let that dry a little bit and do another coat. As you can see, it's kind of streaky looking. But we're going to let that dry for a minute or two, load up some more paint, and do it again. Alright guys, coat number 2. This time we're going to go the opposite direction. Last time we went up and down. Now we're going to go left and right. Hit any of the light spots. There we go. All one color. The foam's kind of got some imperfections in it, guys. You could go in with some wood filler. Fill that and go for it, but I'm going to fly the poop out of this airplane, and it just seems kind of like a waste of time to me to get it all perfect like that on an airplane. I'm going to fly as much as I plan on flying this one. So we're going to let this piece dry, make sure there's no light spots, and then we're going to flip it over and do the exact same thing on the other side. And just so you can see the original color and now the lighter color. Alright guys, here we go. We're going to start our two-toning process. We're going to start up here on the nose and work our way down. So the nose of an F-16 is normally one solid color, the bottom shade of the airplane. So here we go. I'm going to paint this half and then switch over to the other side. Just going to take quite a while. But this way I don't have to take a bunch of stuff off when I do it with the airbrush. So here I'm going to kind of draw a line to about right there. That was it. Now we just start working our way through. Now you'll probably have to put more than one coat on, guys. You don't want runs. That's your goal with all of this, is to never have any runs. Like I said, there's faster ways of doing this. You can take it off and spray it with a rattle can. But I
this. I'm going to paint what I can see on the nose first before I turn the airplane over.
You kind of get the point. And what we're going to do is just keep going back with it. I'm going to finish off the nose, turn the airplane over, and then we'll come back to you. Alright guys, well we've got the paint mostly painted now. We're getting close to our graphic step, but I've decided to steal some of the parts off of my 90mm free wing F-16 that got crashed. So I stole some of the antennas, I stole the little plastic antennas for the front, and I stole the little gun pod off the side of it, if you can see that. So what we're going to do is just glue these on here. This is the glue that comes in most of the kits. Don't ever throw it away, it's good stuff. I'll squirt a little of this on the bottom of here. And I'm going to position it carefully where I would like it. And squish it down. Does that look pretty straight? I think this one needs to come over just a hair. I've got a little bit of touch-up paint still yet to do on the airplane. I can come back and touch this up where I had a little oops there putting that last one on. There's that, and let's glue this antenna on real quick. Little pookie there, down at the bottom. Work the strings out, find our hole again, and squish her down in there. And now that thing's in there. Just adds that little bit of something to it that makes it mine, you know. I want to be different than everybody at the field usually, so I'll sit here and paint on these things for hours and pimp them out, but you know, it all depends how crazy you want to go with all this. So I'm going to get this last piece stuck on off camera just because it's going to be a little bit of a pain holding it for forever because it's a little bit different shape. It's the guns off of an F-16 and it doesn't fit exactly right, so I'm going to have to sit here and hold it down until it kind of dries. After that, really we've got decals left to do, I think. I'm going to glue rockets on the ends of the wings. What I did to do that is took my hobby knife, which is here somewhere, right here, and I cut 2 holes in the wingtips to receive wherever the rockets are. Here's one right here. There's these little holes built into them that were made to go on rails. Well, I'm just going to glue these on because I don't want to ever take them off again. It looks cool with them on there, so I'm just going to glue them in like that. Anyway guys, we'll be back with you here in a little bit when we get ready to do decals, and if I find any more stuff to stick on it to make it look cool, I will tell you that I did. See you later. Alright guys, so we've got all our little scale details we were going to add to the airplane. We've got it just about finished on the cleaned up paint job here. I've got another coat to put right in here. If you see that little bit I need to hit again, which we'll do in a little bit. But I'm going to start putting some of the decals on it now. These are the original decals from the 90mm F-16. I actually have one, and I got the extra stickers for it because I was going to rebuild it, and I still might eventually, but we'll just have to order some more stickers. So, on decals from Free Wing, take and get it all lined up the way you want it. This is the backbone off of an F-16, and I just thought, man, it looked perfect on this airplane. So we get it all lined up the way we want it, and we kind of start pressing it in. And I got it crooked. Happens. That's pretty close right there. Alright, so some guys complain about Free Wing stuff not sticking, and I'm going to give you a secret here in just a second on to how to get them to stick really good. So, if you haven't watched our videos in the past, get you a hobby iron put a little heat on them stickers. Now, I'm just kind of getting a preliminary stick here. Now, we're going to work this off slowly but surely here. Yeah, I'll get to it in a second. So, they're going to start peeling up a little bit here. Not a big deal. Just carefully and slowly peel them. Uh-oh. The good news is they're not completely stuck until you really heat them up. And we're going to go back in here and make sure everything's sitting nice and pretty before we actually stick them. They're kind of fighting me a little bit here. I'm trying to put them on a curve they were never designed to be on. Alright, so now I've got a little spot here. I'm going to lift this up. There we go. Got a little spot right here too. Try to get that to set smooth. Say that one's not setting right. Getting them all setting nice and smooth now is what we're trying to do. Alright, now we're going to grab our heat gun now that we got it on there. Not heat gun, I'm sorry. Your hobby iron. Not too hot on this. I've actually got it a little hot. I'm going to turn it down a little bit more. We're going to slowly start working this. You'll actually start seeing it shrink right to the shape of the foam. And man, this will stick these stickers on from Freewing like you will not believe. They will not blow off after you do this. But it just takes a little bit. I doubt you can actually see the little bubbles forming on camera, but it'll actually form little bubbles on the camera or on the phone as these things kind of shrink up and stick. But every time I've seen this flex jet, I've thought it looks like an F-16, so why not make it one? It's my airplane and nobody else's. So make it the way I want it. So guys, I'm going to get this on here the rest of the way. We're going to put some other decals on the airplane and we'll come back to you in a minute. But it's going to be the same way throughout the whole airplane that way. Remember, your stars always have the tip pointing up in any direction. So forward on the wing, up on here. Alright guys. So my next modification to the airplane, now that it's finished painting, is I never have really liked this cockpit. So what I've done is gone on and peeled this off before we got started. I literally just took and peeled it off of there. It's the canopy. And as you can see, it was very plain on the inside. So just kind of preliminary. I took the F-16 cockpit out of the 90mm and kind of hacked it out to where I know it's going to fit. And then I cut this. I took the stick too. Peel this back out of here. This isn't for the faint of heart. You're definitely taking on an undertaking. So I took the little stick, and he goes right here. That's where I'm going to end up gluing that. And then, now, I've kind of just been trial and error hacking this up to where it fits in there, kind of like that. And then I've got the little side pieces that I've been cutting. They kind of fit in there just like so. And oop, I put it on backwards. Hang on. That goes over there. And we're going to have to fill this all in with putty and make it all fit just right. Like I said, this is the modeling part of this whole thing here. So, but now instead of that ugly cockpit you saw, we got something that looks a little more like a jet here. And we'll set it on there just so you can kind of get a glimpse of how this is going to look. I got the battery sitting in there so it'll set flat and test fit. But now you can kind of see that we're going to have an actual scale cockpit when it's done. I know it looks crazy right now. You just kind of got to have that artistic look to it while you're doing this. But I'm going to take and putty all this in to where it'll look like one solid piece when it's all done. And I'll be walking y'all through this as I step in. So the next thing I'm going to do is just kind of start to glue all this together to where it looks sort of decent. And then we're going to come back in with our one-time lightweight spackleting that you can sand and stuff. Any of this sheetrock spackleting stuff works great for this. But we'll be doing this here in just a minute. Double check it's not dried out. Kind of show you what it looks like. Looks like that. They make a bazillion different kinds of this. Go to the local hardware store and get it. Works great when you get a dent or a scratch in your plane. You can fill those in. Knock holes out of the canopy. So anyway, I'm going to start gluing this together, and then we'll come back to you when we're ready to put our spackleting in. But you can kind of see how I've done that, where I've been laying that out. Alright, see y'all in a little bit. Alright guys, I've got everything glued in the way I like. I don't know what I did with the canopy. There it is. I've test fit the canopy. I know that it's not going to hit anywhere now. And I did this already just a minute ago, but I filled in the bottom half of the canopy to where you can't tell that I actually cut it out. Once that dries and hardens, it won't matter anymore. But now we're going to start taking this stuff, and this is just kind of a messy affair. But you start trying to kind of fill stuff in to make it look like what you want it to. So we're trying to just fill all the little holes and crevices and things and start shaping this roughly the way we want it to look. So here we go. Fill that little crack in. And you're just going to have to kind of play with this stuff to kind of get the shapes you want. Start with something halfway decent, you know. So that's supposed to be a hard edge right there. You know, we're going to go back in and sand it smooth and then repaint this. And I'm going to go on probably and fill in all the little cracks and crevices around this thing. Now, once you kind of get it roughly the right size, normally you can take an old gift card or something and try and smooth it. Smooth it out. So I'm going to have to add a little bit more in that little high spot there. Right along here. We're trying to make that shape. See, I need a little bit more in that corner too. But this is all there is to this. I'm going to keep going on it. Kind of like that, guys. But you can see it's all filled in now on this side. So what we started like, and then after shaping. And now we're going to let that dry after I finish the other side, of course. And then we're going to come back and sand it, and then we're going to paint all this up. Alright guys, we'll be back in a little bit. It's the next day. It's all dried up. We just got to take and do some sanding. Get this thing all smoothed out. And then we're going to be ready for paint. So I'm going to get this going. And literally just sit here and sand until it's nice and smooth. Get back to you in a minute. Alright guys, we've got the airplane all sanded up, our cockpit rebuilt. Now we're going to come in here with our airbrush and start painting her up. Nice light coat first. Well guys, I didn't like the way the gray looked once I got done. So I switched to black and just sprayed it black. That's all I did. Sanded a little here and there. There's still a little bit of a discoloration in some areas. Unfortunately, between the foam and the spackle, that's just going to happen. But the black looked a little better to me. So now I'm going to start going in and hand painting a bunch of this. And at this part, you can literally go as crazy as you want. You could leave it just like it is, and it looks pretty good. But now I am going to bring it to the next level. So when you see this cockpit again, I'm going to have hand painted everything. Probably put instruments in and things like that. But like I said, as it is right now, you could leave it just like this. Alright guys, so I've touched up the cockpit with a paintbrush from the last time you've seen it. Just kind of cleaned it up. I also added some stickers down in the instrument panel. It's okay, you don't have to try and get super in there, Lori, but I just kind of stuck some stickers in there for something. Something else I like to do is, my wife uses this wire to do arts and crafts with. She bends stuff up in little shapes and things. But this wire works great for doing cockpit detailing. And what I like to do is take maybe like something like this right here, get you a little good pair of nippers, and I like to make like an ejection handle. And I'll take and kind of bend it sort of like that, get it kind of shaped the way I want it. Stuff bends really easy. Like that. Cut that off right there. And I kind of just form it and get it the way I want it. And then, foam's easy to do this too. You just stick it down in the foam. Kind of roughly like that. And then I'll come in here with a paintbrush and I'll paint that up yellow and black. And it just gives you something more to look at in the airplane. Now I'll bend it a little bit and kind of get it just how I like it, and I'll get back to you here in a second, and I'm going to make another one for the other side, and I'll probably make two down by his feet, and then we'll go back and paint them and glue them in. But this is just some little thing you can do, and she's got a whole bunch of colors, and sometimes I'll take and behind the back of the cockpit here, I'll run some wires in here, and it'll look like there's some electrical stuff. Just something a little different to set you apart from everybody else. Alright, we'll be back in a minute. Alright guys, got it all bent. Now I'm going to take a little thin CA, squirt it down in the holes, right there. And I'm going to take some yellow, paint them yellow, and then I'll take black and kind of stripe them. And then we'll come back and you can see the finished product of the little ejection handles. Alright guys, another little update. I've got them painted and I've got them in. I went on ahead and had a little fun and painted my name on his helmet just for giggles. So there you go, yeah. Definitely pimped out a whole lot more. I think I'm going to add a couple little more things and then we're going to be ready to glue this thing shut. Alright guys, it's all finished. There you go. I did a little custom artwork there. You can see the loops that I did. I even added some little paperwork charts for him. They're still drying. They'll eventually go back to clean looking. It's CA that I glued it on with. I just kind of had fun with it. Threw some wires in it just to liven it up. Remember, this is a flex jet, not any kind of real jet. So we're just having fun with it. At the end of the day, you don't have to be scale. You just have to have fun. So we can put our canopy back on. I haven't glued it, of course. I'm letting everything dry first, but there you go. Much, much better. If you remember, we started with this as the inside of this cockpit. So we are doing much better now. Alright guys, I'm going to get it glued back together. We'll get it back on the airplane and we'll meet you back here in a little bit. Guys, the fruits of our labor. Here it is, all of its glory. Like I said, there's a couple little rough spots on the airplane. If I would have thought about it beforehand, I probably would have filled some of the foam pits in and some of this. But you know what? At the end of the day, this is going to be a flyer, guys. And from more than a foot away, it looks pretty darn cool. So we'll get Lori to sign us out here. She's hard at work on the boozer stuff over here. Look at that, making some squadron patches for you guys. Anyway, there it is. A fully customized FlexJet. I hope y'all enjoyed it.